Hello and welcome in, Butterfly. So I have a question for you all. So I would like for you all to give me some interaction, leave it in the comments for me. But my question to you all, is it beneficial to be married or is it beneficial to be in a relationship but single, right? And I asked that question because I don't know if you all knew about it, but I did not know that Malcolm Jamal Warner's widow is now having to sue her mother-in-law, his mother, in the courts because she needs money basically to support her family, her daughter and herself, right? And so I think she's asking for like 1.2 million or something like that, which I don't feel is a bad number. I mean, that's not a lot of money at all, raising a daughter and all that good stuff in the world that we live in today. Let's jump in, sip on some tea. If you guys are still here, leave me some comments, guys.
We lost him. You were very private. We didn't hear anything. And then this past September, you posted something. It was your anniversary, I think.
Our wedding.
Yes. What made you decide to do that?
You know, being in silence for a long time, I realized that there was a world out there that he had touched in such powerful ways that I wasn't necessarily seeing because my grief was sacred to me and I needed to keep it mine. And that posting for me was to let the world know I'm here.
I'm here and I'm feeling what?
I'm here and I'm experiencing the biggest loss of my life. And I want you to know that I see you all. And just because I'm still behind here with my silence and my grief on my own terms doesn't mean I don't see you.
Welcome on into my channel, beautiful butterflies. Welcome on into my channel. Now, you'll probably say, why are we going into this? No, this is the portion where he actually expresses the fact of how he met his wife, and basically he didn't even want children before he met her. So we're going to jump in. It's a little long, guys, but it's well worth the listen. I promise it is. It may give you a different opinion on the thoughts in your situation on how you maybe feel about the wife asking for what she's asking for.
I remember our first date. I was like, you know what? I think I'm cool on. I'm at peace with not having kids. I'm probably not going to have kids because during this period of time,
Mhm.
doing all this self reflection and whatnot, I figured maybe the rest of the next chapter of my life is about something bigger than marriage and family. So I was okay with that.
Mhm.
So our first date, I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to have kids, and she said, I'm definitely having kids. So it was great. We are not on the same page at all.
Mhm.
This will not turn into anything. We could actually just be friends. And like that first date was September. Our second date was October. We didn't date again until November. So it was really just,
Very slow moving
but it wasn't
and
even,
chill, no
we weren't
expectations.
even trying to make it move into anything but like a really cool friendship. So I was able to be, I was really honest and frank and candid about everything because I wasn't looking for an angle. I wasn't trying to smash. It was just like, I didn't really, I didn't have concerns about the way she might think about me because we were just, yeah, we hanging out. So it's cool. 5.5 months later, and we had never talked about kids since that first date. 5.5 months later, I said, what do you think about starting a family?
What? Why? What was the epiphany 5 months later?
at
What
because
happened?
at some point during this time, and because I had been thinking about, I'm not gonna have a kid, but at some point I was like, if I'm going to have a kid, this is the person that I would want to have it with.
Mhm.
And again, it's only been 5 months.
Mhm.
But I also realized that if something happened and we weren't together romantically, she would still be the person that I would want to raise
A child
a
with,
child
co-parent
with,
with.
a co-parent with. I noticed that in my wife. I was like, if I'm going to do it, this is the person to do it with.
Mhm.
And literally, it had only been 5.5 months. By this time, we had only had sex maybe two or three times. So it wasn't the sex thing. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm in love. It was like, this
Works.
feels right. And this makes sense. And I've never second guessed it. Like there was a moment where I realized, oh, so when people say, when you know, that's what that feeling is.
Mhm.
And I had always heard that. And being in long-term relationships for so much of my life, I always felt like, okay, that's a cool concept. But I had that experiential knowledge of when you know. And it's just like, this is it. And we have, I've never second guessed it. We've been together almost 10 years,
Mhm.
and we have never had a fight, an argument, a raised voice, or a harsh word said to one
In
another.
10 years?
And it's not like we agree on everything.
Right.
She's Black and Puerto Rican, so it's not like she's incapable
No,
of the
it's
smoke.
she's quite capable of the smoke and spice.
I've seen her with
Absolutely.
her family. Like,
Yes.
yeah, the smoke is there, the spice is there, but we're just, I think because we met later in life, we've just always been at a point where we have a way of communicating like adults. I talk about my wife and daughter, but I never, obviously I don't post them. I don't, I talk about them because uh, there are obviously the hugest parts of my life, the best parts of my life, the best decisions I've ever made. But I also, I like to keep them and their identity private. But I also feel I love talking about them because I want people to know that like it is possible to be happy and to have love and love really be enriching. And I met my wife at 45, so like it's okay to wait. You don't have to be in your 20s looking for your soulmate when you don't even really know who the fuck you are. So I talk about them, because I'm very proud of my life, and especially that aspect of my life.
Widow is suing the estate. The reason is there's a family trust managed by Malcolm Jamal Warner's mother. That's where the money is. That's what's managing everything. The widow, Malcolm Jamal's wife, is saying, look, we had a prenup, and he never lived up to the terms of the prenup. And because he never lived up to the terms of the prenup, I need money from the estate.
What terms did he?
One of them was the big one was the insurance policy.
Okay, and they're gonna jump into that a little later. So if you're still here with me, hopefully you guys are, but if you're not, fine. But anyways, this young lady is gonna kind of express what I was saying and why I asked you if you're still here, to kind of watch the section of him talking about how he met his wife, because there's love there. When you meet someone and it's not a relationship first thing out the door, it's a friendship. You know every single thing there is to know about that person. There's a different aspect on what you see that person as, because you're seeing their true self. You're not seeing a fake person that's just trying to, like he said, get in your britches. So we'll jump back in, guys.
That Malcolm Jamal Warner would have wanted his wife and daughter left financially vulnerable after his passing. According to court filings and media reports, Malcolm Jamal Warner's widow, Tanisha Warner, has filed a lawsuit involving his estate and trust, which reportedly has been overseen by his mother since she was named executor in 1996. This situation is especially heartbreaking because everyone involved is experiencing unimaginable grief. And I personally witnessed how the passing of a family member can bring out the worst in people. In a remembrance post recently shared by Malcolm's mother, she stated that during my year-long journey, I have experienced how cruel, evil, and greedy a human can be. Malcolm's widow, Tanisha, is alleging that their prenuptial agreement included a $1 million life insurance policy to provide for his family in the event he passed away, but that such a policy was never obtained, and that he was to maintain college savings accounts for their child. As his wife and mother of his children, I don't see any of these requests as greedy, and I don't think he intentionally left his wife without support. He likely assumed he had plenty of time to get his affairs in order. If there's one lesson to take away from this situation, it's to get your affairs in order while you're still alive. You happen to have a spouse you're financially dependent on. Don't assume everything's been taken care of simply because you've talked about it. Put eyes on the paperwork yourself to make sure it actually exists. And I don't think it's right for a grandparent to hold on to an inheritance that should be passed down to their grandchild. This is a sad situation for all parties involved, and I hope that they come to an amicable agreement.
The headlines state Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Now, this guy, she's going to break down the ideas of having all of this stuff in order and why you should have it in order. And then, we'll get a little bit more information a little bit after this as well.
Widow is suing his mother for $1.2 million. But once again, the media is not telling the whole story. Here are 5 things you need to know.
One, it's actually two lawsuits, not one. Everyone's talking about the widow suing his mom, but his widow, Tanisha, and his mother, Pamela, are on opposite sides of two separate court battles. Two, Malcolm Jamal Warner died intestate because he died without a will. In 2025, Tanisha, as his surviving spouse, petitioned the DeKalb County Probate Court to be appointed the administrator so she could manage any of his assets not covered by the family trust. Three, his mother filed a formal objection with the court to Tanisha running the estate. This legal battle is the more important one that no one is covering, and it's still active. As a result, there's no one appointed to manage the estate. Four, the second lawsuit, the one everyone knows about, was filed exactly 1 year after his death. Tanisha sued the Malcolm Jamal Warner Family Trust and his estate for breach of contract under the 2022 prenup. She alleges that under the terms of the prenup, she's entitled to $1.2 million, which includes a $1 million life insurance policy on his life, naming her as beneficiary, salary payments, and retirement contributions, none of which were ever fulfilled. Five, the Malcolm Jamal Warner Family Trust was set up in 1996, and it locked the moment he died. The trust was revocable while he was alive, meaning Malcolm Jamal Warner could have changed it at any time. But the instant he passed, it became irrevocable, and his mother, the successor trustee, stepped in to run it. That's why I always say you don't need just a trust, you need a will too. Unless assets are specifically conveyed into a trust, everything else falls outside of it and goes through the estate. Michael Jackson's estate got this right. He had both a will and a trust. The terms of the will conveyed anything that was not specifically conveyed to the trust into the trust. Follow me for more on this and other estate matters.
Guys, this is exactly why I tell people estate planning is not optional. Malcolm Jamal Warner's widow has now filed a lawsuit against his mother, who serves as a trustee of his family trust. Here's what every family should understand. According to the lawsuit, Malcolm's widow claims he promised certain financial protections in their 2022 prenuptial agreement, including $1 million life insurance policy, retirement funding, annual payments, and compensation for work she did. But those obligations were allegedly never completed before his tragic death. She's now seeking $1.2 million from the trust. These are allegations that will ultimately be decided in court. As a family law attorney, here's my takeaway. This isn't really about greed, it's about planning. A prenup is only one piece of the puzzle. You also have to update your trust, your will, your beneficiary designations, and your life insurance. If those documents don't all work together, the people you love can end up fighting each other in court after you're gone. Imagine grieving the loss of your spouse while also battling your mom-in-law over your financial future. That's a situation nobody wants. Here's my advice. If you've gotten married, had children, divorced, or your financial situation has changed, review your estate planning now, not later, because once you're gone, your loved ones can't ask you what you intended. A judge has to figure out all this paperwork. So follow me for more family law and estate planning tips. My name is Attorney Judy of Atlanta Family and Immigration Law. And this is why it's so important to be ready, because we're never, ever going to know when that last moment can happen. This is an unfortunate situation. It's heartbreaking on all sides. As we look back on his 1 year anniversary of his untimely death, this is the headlines. This has got to be gut-wrenching for all parties involved. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. This one hurts. All right, guys. Have a good evening.
And guys, before we move on, again, if you're still here, I put this one in to get you all to understand that outside of marriage and outside of relationships, it's still important to have these pieces of important legal documents because again, as she said, you just never know. And as a family, sisters, brothers, you can still have that occur. So it's good to have all of that in order for that, as well as a mother and a father. For your children, if you plan on leaving them anything or whatever the case may be. Um, I say that to say that my mom, she recently had to re-update her will because my nephew had just passed away. It'll be a year this year coming up in February, if I'm not mistaken. And long story short, she had to update her will because I only have two nephews and then the rest are all great nephews. So she planned on leaving him something if she God forbid, had left here before he had. But, because of life and life sucks and cancer sucks, my nephew is obviously not here anymore. So she had to update her will in order to take him off of it and just leave my other nephews, my great nephews and my nephew on there. So it is important to definitely have those documents updated.
Meanwhile,
point of getting married. Literally, I'd like to ask the question: if you think that you can, if you want to marry somebody and then outsource the sex, outsource the responsibility, outsource what the labor of love is actually supposed to be about, why not just stay single? If you can then jump into that next commitment, which is the exact same as dating, and you can sleep with other people and you can put topless photos on the internet, what are you getting married for?
I mean, I'm not sleeping with other people.
What's the difference for you between dating and marriage? But there's no difference between dating and marriage
there is a
other than the
difference.
idea in your head that it's a bond, because you're saying also
But it's not an idea in my head, it's on paper. But it's not but I'm saying it's not a tax break. It's a legal thing.
And I think
I'm
for people that are
connecting to
committed,
somebody for the rest of my life.
Yeah, well, I think for people that think about marriage and don't think about a cross as something funsy to wear, it's not a piece of paper. It is a union between a man and a woman, a sacred union that should be protected from external forces.
Man fulfill his potential, which means a man can be more with a wife than without a wife. Now, a lot of guys don't want to be married because, but then I'm stuck with this one person. Yeah, but guess what? They stuck with you too, bro. That stuck thing is a two-way street. And by the way, you're better off, like all of us would be better off being in a relationship that we are in covenant with, that we can't just run away from because it's hard. And by the way, if you are going to be married, it is going to be hard sometimes because number one, you did not marry yourself. In fact, you probably married the opposite of yourself. And opposites attract until they attack.
One thing I love about being married is that I ain't gotta listen to none of y'all ninjas. I ain't gotta go through no dating game, playing this and that. Cause I find the person that would ride for me till I die, the same way that I would ride for her till I die. I'm saying this with love. If you're out there and you're listening to all these love gurus online thinking that's gonna help you, you are sadly mistaken. Cause these people are making money over you, that's it. I ain't no love guru, but I'm gonna tell you this. One of the best way to find your person is to focus on yourself. And I'm not saying lock yourself in a room, just work and don't talk to nobody. I'm saying focus on your passion, focus on what makes you feel better, and keep yourself available and open to meet people. And trust me, it will happen. You will find your person.
And he is so correct about that. And I will say, go over to my Shadow Work and Gems podcast, guys, for shadow work. That leads up to what he was just saying. Know who you are, know what you want, all that good stuff, your boundaries, everything. And you can still date, but it will be that much better for you.
It's different because in my marriage, I see I need to work on X, Y, and Z. Your marriage didn't make that different. Your age did. You're just not gonna convince me of it. And like I said, I'm indifferent about marriage. He wants to be married at his own time, and which it works out great for him because I'm indifferent. So he don't feel rushed. He don't feel like he gotta hurry up and go buy a ring and propose, And some people will say, oh, he's using that as an excuse to not propose. No, he's not. He just don't have to.
And if I was, mind your business.
Oh, marriage is different because in my marriage, I see I need to work on X, Y, and Z. Your marriage didn't make that different. Your age did. You got older and realized that the bullshit you did in your 20s was not conducive to your 30s and your 40s. That's why I say you're not going to convince me that marriage is different than a long-term relationship, because it's not. You can get in a relationship at the age of 19 and be with that person until you're fucking 40. Get married to that person and realize that shit was no different. I'm sorry, you're not gonna convince me that it's your age that made that shit different for you. You matured, you grew up. There's no difference. Anybody that can change my perspective on marriage and long-term relationships are different, I give you $100. At my own motherfucking pocket.
Yeah, the challenge has been set.
Yes.
Yes.
And listen, a lot of stuff happened on Love and Hip Hop, and
Now, guys, why we're going into Yandy and Mendices? Because, again, the question of the day in the beginning, if you're still here, was what are the benefits of being married or the benefits of being single but in a relationship? Okay. And I had the Malcolm Jamal Warner situation because at that point, does it matter of being married or not? And then on the single side, if you know, you know. We'll go into that later on. So I say Yandy and Mendices has been together for years, like I think 20 plus some years, or at least 21 years or something like that. Now, again, this is a little bit of a long podcast, but it is beneficial to you. And I tell you the reason why. Because if you guys didn't already know, the whole entire time that Yandy and Mendices have been together, the kicker was they were never married. They got married, no doubt. They did. But the kicker is she never turned in the paperwork because if you know, you know. When you get married, you have to get the paperwork first. The person has to sign it, whoever married you, right? The officiant, I think is what they call it. And then you take that paperwork to the courthouse. The courthouse does what they do, voila, you get a certificate, right? But if you don't turn that in, then you are not married. You have paperwork that says you got married, but you're still not married because you never turned it in. And I'm not sure if there's a limit on that. Somebody leave that in the comments if you know differently. And I don't want to keep us too long, so we'll talk later.
Saying this too as the journey started and where you ended up, because your relationship lasted damn near the whole entire until the end. Until
I mean,
you
I'm
know
still
the
relationshiping. We're parents.
right.
You know?
Okay, I thought you were about to say we got back together.
We're still relationshiping.
Okay, and respectfully so, because what I do love is that with you and Mendici, you guys have always had a level of respect in how you even speak about each other when you're not in the room. No matter what's going on behind the scenes in real life with the two of you, there's certain lines and boundaries you don't cross, and that's not easy.
Especially with the camera in your face and you dealing with emotions and you dealing with a breakup. You know, it's hard. But I think that we knew ultimately there is a lot of love between us. We also knew that we have to show first and foremost respect to our children.
Yes, I knew it.
And his children that I didn't birth are my children and I love them. So I would never purposely in my right, you know, sometimes you lose your mind a little bit, but in my right mind, I would never disrespect them. In times that it has happened when I got into it, you know, with, you know, his children's mothers, I felt horrible. I felt horrible at the end of it. And it was so important for me to make it right behind the scenes. And I feel like if I'm going to make it right behind the scenes, let me at least try to also make it right in front of the camera, because that's what real life is about. So that was just important to me. Even in this final chapter, if it is a final chapter, it's going to be important for me to leave the correct legacy behind, because we definitely took each other through there. It's been 21 years.
Jim Jones is not
Pretty much my point. 21 years and they weren't even married. 2 kids, and then of course the plus kids that he already had previous to that relationship. And then we get over to Chrissy and Jim Jones and them having a conversation about he didn't marry some other heifer. No, I don't mean that in a bad way, y'all. No, let's get into this.
leaving Chrissy for no goddamn Brooke. Okay? If y'all thought Chrissy put them 20 years in of being a damn girlfriend to let somebody else come in and get the damn marriage without... What? Y'all knew better than that. First of all, let's talk about the fact of how the hell y'all go straight from he left Chrissy to now he married Brooke. Like, y'all skipped the talking stage, the situation stage, the relationship stage, the cupcake stage. Y'all went straight to damn marriage, and the internet just goddamn ran with it like some damn fool. But one thing I thought was funny, though, that this story has been going around on TikTok all week long, and neither did Brooke, Chrissy, or Jim Jones say anything until it really started getting posted on the blog. So now I'm wondering, is this a scheme that Todd set up for him to come to you with the bullshit? Because I know they seen this day one. Like, I know they all heard the story. We all heard it. As a matter of fact, I'm tired of goddamn hearing about it, if you ask me. They've been talking about it all damn week, 7 days.
So happy birthday.
Now y'all leave me some comments because I missed that. I missed a lot of things, y'all. And when I do catch, I post for y'all. If you even still here with me, let's jump
Birthday,
back in.
Chrissy. Okay, you look beautiful. You just not Asian, girl. You look amazing. Okay, happy birthday. But I made this video because a lot of people was saying that Chrissy and Jim Jones not together and woo this and all kinds of stuff y'all was saying when I made that video or whatever. Baby, Chrissy and Jim Jones was together. They was on a boat. It was a beautiful view, all the above or whatever. But let me just say this right quick. A lot of people might say Chrissy this and she's stupid because Jim Jones don't want to marry her. Let me tell y'all something. Have y'all ever seen Jim Jones out here making Chrissy look like a fool?
Nope.
So have y'all ever seen to where she just getting cheated on and messed over? It's some type of respect there. And one thing, he take good damn care of her. So sometimes, don't get me wrong, I understand people might say, oh, you should get married, this and that, that's your blessings, that's the right thing you're doing, in God's eyes or what this. But one thing out here, one thing I can't say, he not out here clowning her. I can't say that. He ain't making no babies on her. None of the above. You know what I'm saying? But I just had to let y'all know that I saw on her story, and yes, I went on Chrissy's story, that Jim Jones was right next to Chrissy on that boat, okay? And they was having them a good time. It was a beautiful view. It was everything, okay? Hugs and love. Y'all be blessed. Happy birthday, Chrissy. Mwah.
And this is Chrissy giving Jim Jones' birthday. And then there's going to be a young guy that's going to come up and tell us a little bit of information about that and what he feel about relationships. And he's never getting married. And I, of course, am married. So we'll talk about that after all of this. And then I won't keep you guys any longer.
Oh,
if
so
you're still
crazy to
here.
me. How Chrissy and Jim Jones still together, bro. They still rocking. They rocking. After 20 plus years, like still rocking. And what sparked this video for me, the other day it was Jim Jones' birthday, and Chrissy threw a surprise party for him. And I was seeing people comment, oh, he still ain't married her, woo, he still ain't proposed her, da, 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 da. And it just made me think, like, why does that matter? What makes being married so fucking important to y'all? Like, other than just what it says in the Bible, whatever the case may be, why does it matter so much to y'all? Like, why do y'all hold marriage up in such heavy weight like that? Like, why do y'all carry that? Like, it's going to determine the love and strength of you and your person's relationship. And Jim Jones and Chrissy, they've been through a lot together. Like, this ain't been no perfect road. This ain't just been no clean cut road. Jim Jones literally beef with motherfuckers because of her. She didn't beef with motherfuckers because of Jim. They road hasn't been perfect, but they still love each other. They rock with each other. That's his boo. That's her boo. They forever. They forever. They ain't shit. I'm gonna be honest. Let's just say I'm around Chrissy age and I was able to date Chrissy. Let's just say they separated. I wouldn't take her seriously because I know her heart is still with him. And whatever woman that's with Jim, I wouldn't take him seriously because his heart is still with her. They've been with each other over 20 years, still rocking heavy, strong. People still carry the marriage shit or whatever. I think at one point in time she tried to like propose to him, which is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, it's just like y'all booze. That's y'all. That marriage shit don't mean shit. Like, why does it? Please, can somebody just explain why does marriage matter so much? Like, does it really determine how strong your love for your partner and the strength of your relationship? Explain it to me, because it don't really matter to me. I'm not a marriage guy. I'm not one of those guys I'm looking to be married. No, I'm never gonna get married. You know what I'm saying? But it just baffles me when I see people judging them, but their relationship lasting than motherfuckers who've been married.
Again, I think it matters if you have a friendship before a relationship. It's a bigger difference. And Chrissy and Jim, I think, were probably friends before they became lovers, which makes a bigger difference. I don't think being married makes a difference either way, but there's benefits of both. Let's get back into
Haven't
it.
tied the knot, so we want to know, like, do you plan on walking down the aisle? What's the dealio?
To be honest with you, it's not a priority anymore.
Okay.
Our relationship is in a good place.
Oh.
And
yeah, I get it. Like,
no,
the
seriously,
commitment is
like,
there.
I thought that was like the natural progression.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody.
Okay.
So we're good right now.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And before you decide to fix your ears to listen to and believe the horrible things a man is telling you about the woman that left him, remember, good men are hard to come by. What woman you know is hopping off a good man that screw good, make money, and don't cheat? Damn. Quickly. Exactly. Don't let that man words get you stuck in a situation that woman escaped from.
All right, y'all. You guys let me know what you think. Now, I'm gonna give you my opinion before we jump off briefly, hopefully briefly. Now, if you're still here, my thing is the benefits of being married on one side, in the sense of not being, just a relationship. So the benefits of being married, my opinion, is if, God forbid, both of these situations, if something was to happen to either you or your spouse, right? If something happens where you can't speak and you need surgery or anything of the above, or even if you're in a coma, your family can't say anything. They can have their opinion on it, they can have their thoughts and whatever, but they don't have that decision at the end of the day. As a spouse, you have that decision, they don't, amongst other things. Now, moving on to the other half of it, in the sense of being in a relationship but single. So, if you're in that relationship and it's the same situation, you don't have that say so as a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You can have your opinion just like the family did in the marriage, but you're not the one that can make that decision. That family, the next of kin, is the one that's going to make that decision. So no matter what you feel about it, it's not going to matter. It's going to be whatever the family decides. It's no difference in the situation where a young lady and her boyfriend that's all over TikTok, I cannot think of their names right now, when he was in a uh he was pumed in the head. He survived, and of course they were married. So she made the decision to keep him, I think, in a coma, bring him, nurse him back to health, so on and so forth. And mind you, he was supposedly cheating on her the whole entire time, allegedly. And the situation though was his family didn't want that, and she was like, "No, I'm gonna leave him on here. He's gonna fight. He's gonna make through." He pulled through. But if it had been her in a girlfriend situation, she wouldn't have made that decision because she could have had that opinion, but it would have mattered. So that is the benefits of both, in my own personal opinion. Now, I don't feel like it changes your relationship. No, only a little bit, because once you've gotten somebody in a sense of it's on paperwork, most of us, it's like, well, we pay attention to those people, but maybe not like we did before we were married. Because when you're not married to somebody, you're in a relationship, it's like, well, I gotta keep them, I gotta keep my hair done, I gotta keep my nails done, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And man's like, well, I need to take do these certain things for her, take care of her somewhat, all these different things to keep these people, right? On the marriage side, you still have to do that because it's only right, but you don't work as hard because you kind of be like, well, I got them, it's on paper, they're not going nowhere. Mind you, in a marriage, you can still leave. It's called separating if you don't get divorced. In a relationship, like the gentleman said, if you're married, you can't run. You have to face your problem, but you can run. But again, there's only separation and divorce. Separation is completely different from divorce. We won't get into that. But I'm going to let you guys go. And if you're still here, guys, leave me some comments about what you feel your opinions are on marriage. And yeah, I'll call you back.